Did you know that chicken eggs can come in various colors such as blues, greens, pinks, browns, creams, and white? Here's how Luba and I created a natural looking egg wreath using paint, natural fibers, and moss greenery. Welcome friends, it's Gail here. We will be using a 14-inch wire wreath form that I got at the Dollar Tree, and we'll also use foam eggs. We need 56 total. Our eggs are 2.75 inches long. We paint over glitter and white foam eggs. I will provide some links to different types of foam eggs that you can purchase to help with the egg hunting in the description below under More. If you buy plastic eggs, you can use them as they are, or you can still paint them. I just recommend sanding them first so they have a rougher surface so the paint will grab onto the egg better. We're using top-notch matte acrylic paints that you can find at Joann Fabrics because some of the colors are a little bit more muted and we like the colors as they are. We're using a coffee bean, light gray, Dijon, denim, tan, and white. We use buttercream the most, which isn't shown here. To make our blue, we add in light gray and white to the denim color, and we add Dijon to make the green. This is what the eggs look like after we paint them 2 to 3 times. Next, we chose burlap ribbon to wrap around some of the eggs. So we use this burlap ribbon that you see here that you can buy off of Amazon. You can find some at the Dollar Tree as well. You can also use satin ribbons and embellishments. And you can look at this video up here in the upper right-hand corner to see how we made the embellishments. Gluing on the burlap ribbon is very easy with Titebond Quick and Thick multi-surface glue. I just create a bead of glue all the way around, wrap the burlap on top, and cut it off and it's ready to go. Here are the ways we decorated our eggs. We made 8 light gray green eggs like this, 4 light gray blue eggs like this one, 11 buttermilk eggs with a cream color ribbon on top, 8 warm gray ones that has this twine with leaves on it that we got at Hobby Lobby. We also used the leaves on this one. We created 7 tan, 4 were created like this. And then 3 were created with the brown satin ribbon and the embellishments that look like this. Our plain eggs consist of 8 white and 4 light gray eggs. Originally, our 8 speckled coffee bean eggs were meant to be left plain. However, we realized they look like missing teeth. Therefore, we're using tulip, white, 3D fabric paint, and creating dots on top. This would be much easier to do prior to adding them on the wreath. I'm wrapping my wire wreath form with a 3-inch wide burlap ribbon. It has no wire in it. I'm just going to start it off at an angle, glue it onto the wires, and continue to wrap around, gluing on one edge as I go. Alrighty, it's finished. It's time for the fun part. Let's forage for decorative eggs. At this point, we laid out our eggs so we know which ones are going in the center, the ones that are going in the middle, and the ones that are going on the outside. Notice how the 3 eggs that have the embellishments on them are the ones in the center. We kind of laid them out like they create a triangle. This will create a center of interest. Beginning with the middle row, which are the eggs that are on the burlap frame itself, I am adding hot glue to the back side and I'm starting to glue them down. On that inside section, notice how all of the eggs' bottoms are facing inward and the eggs' pointed heads are facing outward. When I set the eggs right next to one another, there'll be just a little space left over at the end. Therefore, I'm adding eggs to both ends as I go around, leaving a tiny bit of space in between every once in a while to fill up that gap. Now we will begin with the outer row. Notice how the pointed part of the egg is facing inward and the bottom is facing outward, which is the opposite of the one in the middle row. Also, there's a space in between. What we're doing is fitting the pointed part of the egg in between the 2 eggs in the middle row. Therefore, the center row and the outer row will have the same number of eggs, which is 21 for each row. In the very inner row, the pointed part of the eggs are facing inward and the bottom is touching the bottom of the eggs in the center. So it's butt to butt on the inner rows and head to head on the outer rows. Most likely, the eggs on the inner row will be connected together. I will continue gluing eggs together to make sure that they're secured and fastened on the wreath. The moss greenery that I'm using comes from the flowering garland that you can buy at Hobby Lobby. The item number is 272559 in case you want to find it yourself. You can also look for some other ones. I like to look for foliage that has like a wishbone to it where it's easy just to pop off, and it makes it easier to secure it with that wishbone there. Since we're talking about wishbones, it's time to make a wish. I hope it's a good one. I am hot gluing the foliage on the back side of the wreath, beginning with the outer rim first. The wishbone part, where the two pieces join together, will be glued in the center, and then I'm just kind of laying them out with a little space between and working on filling in those gaps between the outer eggs so that it looks like it's fully green all the way around. Here's how the wreath looks at this stage. I'm continuing to add the green foliage on the inside as well. Now that the back is finished, I'm adding a couple more pieces of foliage in the spaces between the outer eggs. This will create a sense of fullness. Now that the foliage has been added on the back side, I need to reinforce it, otherwise the greenery can fall off. I can use glue such as the Titebond multi-surface glue. I could tape it on, or I can sew it on. I'm choosing to sew it on with jute twine. The needle I'm using is called a yarn needle, and they're really cheap and you can buy them off of Amazon. And I'm just going to tie on one section at a time and do a base stitch all the way around on the outer rim and the inner rim. I like base stitching the greenery on because it makes the backing look much neater. You could also use a regular needle and embroidery thread. That would probably be easier than getting that plastic needle through the burlap. All right. Here's our finished contemporary farmhouse Easter wreath. If you got something out of this, please give us a thumbs up. Here are more videos you might be interested in.